YouTube channel. My name is Ella, and I want to welcome you specially to another Humanitarian of Africa session. Today, I have the wonderful founder of EduAid Africa, a non-profit based off of Lagos, Nigeria, and she's here to share with us her amazing story and the story of her organization. Welcome, Dr. Stephanie.
Thank you very much.
It's nice having you here today to hear your story and the story of everything that you have been doing with your organization. It's really an honor. Okay, so I know that people don't know about you. I'm the only one here on this call that knows about you. So please tell us about you, what you do, and anything you feel comfortable with sharing.
Okay, so my name, like she has said, the wonderful Ella has said, is Dr. Stephanie Oneha. I'm the founder and executive director of EduAid Africa Foundation. Actually, the foundation was born out of the need to reach out to the less privileged and people that are downtrodden in our society generally. We started the foundation just after the lockdown. Actually, I run a school. I have a Montessori school that I run, So after the lockdown, it's not even a high-end school, if I were to put it that way. Mm-hmm. We are a low-cost school. And then I observed that after the lockdown, the population of the school dropped. Mm-hmm. And by the time we did our analysis and trade, normally when we don't see students in school, we reach out to them and try to find out why they are not more coming to school and all that. And we discovered the pandemic, just after the pandemic, a lot of these parents could not afford to return their children to school. Mm. And I was like, okay, if that is the case, let me reach out to some, because I belong to one or two associations like NAPS, National Association of Private Proprietors of Schools, and AFED, which is the formidable association of educators. And I was like, if we have this percentage number of people that have dropped out of our school, let me just reach out to other proprietors and find out exactly what's going on. And we discovered that the story was the same thing. A lot of children were out of school at that period. And I was like, no, we can't allow this to continue. Having worked both in the public and private sector, I have seen situations where children, maybe due to, lack of $10 or even less, are taken out of school. And then you find out that those children end up, being there in the society, not doing much. So that was what triggered the desire to start this foundation, which rightly named EduAid, to help, to aid education in our own way, to boost the literacy levels of our children as much as possible, bring quality education, to the less privileged, to those that are not so okay in our society, to help bridge that, because what really moved me was the fact that sometimes I just reason that, these children, if we just allow them stay out of school like that, that is going to end up determining the kind of future they would then have, and their own children and their own children. So, and I was thinking that, how do we break this cycle of poverty? The way I felt that we could break the cycle of poverty was to help those children, return them, as many of them as possible, back to school, so that they can have a better means of also educating their own children and therefore reducing the level of poverty in our society. So that was regarded. And since then, we have been busy reaching out to the underprivileged. There are so many communities in our, and I didn't even tell you, during that lockdown, I just felt that, I just thought to myself, I said, now this lockdown, everybody is indoors. And in our society, Nigeria, there are some people that must come out on a daily basis to hustle before they can. And I was like, how are these people surviving now because of this COVID-19 and everybody inside? So myself and one or two persons, we decided to, just share some things in some communities that are not far from where we live. I stay in Yaba area. So we went to Oko, we went to Ebute Meta, then Bariga, the slums. And what we saw was amazing. It was deplorable. And we were like, no, no, no. Little wonder some of these children cannot really afford to stay in school. And since we have been trying to work with these families, there are some of these children that we have been able to return back to school, and some of them are doing well now. Some of them that their parents have said, no, they cannot continue, particularly the girls. We have found of, helping them to get one skill or the other. So that's what we have been doing thus far. That's what engineered the desire to really start the foundation and begin to help in our own little way as much as possible to make impact, to see how we can better the lot of our people. Yes.
That's really a great motivation to starting to want to help people from your own school down to a non-profit. And that's really amazing. I can totally relate with the issues that you're talking about in all of those slum areas, because the resources that are in the country are not enough and are not getting to these people that need it. They are not able to make ends meet. And so their children are out of school, which is really, really disappointing. What are the major projects, or what are the programs that you run within your organization? What are they like, the projects that you're using to solve this problem of out of school children and also provide literacy? Can you tell us a bit about the projects that you run?
Okay, so we have this, what we call the literacy program, which is like mobile literacy classes that we organize. We go to these communities and we spend a couple of days with them, and we streamline the children. So first of all, look at the demographic and decide on the children that will be needing our kind of assistance. We look for children that have dropped out of school or those that are not doing so well. And what we do with those ones is we gather them. We have a lot of literature books that we take reading, these reading materials, we take with us. And then we, because me and my one or two persons that work with me, we have a knowledge of the Montessori method. We have knowledge of the early years curriculum. So what we do with the Jolly Phonics, so we take them through the sound system, and we help them to, we guide them to read. And then, by the time we are leaving the community, we discover that most of them would have improved, in their ability to read. And then as many as can be sent back to school, we talk with their parents. And, by the time, the funny thing, when the parents see that an intervention have come and the child they felt maybe could not do well and they don't really want to waste their money on the child,
it's beginning to do well.
They're happy to even have the child back in school. And that made me realize that indeed, most parents want their children to do well in life. It's not the means of getting them to do well that is the problem. And then we also have the advocacy. We work with children in the markets, where, yes, this we realize that in some of these our markets, particularly in some of these our big markets in Lagos, like West Market, like the Okeari Market, we have a lot of young children. They are the ones that help with carrying the clothes in the market. They call them the alabaru in the market. They help. At the end of the day, they get 100 naira or 200 naira, and the next they are running around to get the next customer. And then so, there was once I went to the market, and one of the girls that offered to carry my load and all that, I started interviewing her, and I discovered she's from a particular part of this country, and I asked her. She has never been in school. She was about 9 years old. She had never seen the four walls of the classroom and all that. And that also triggered the need. And I looked at her, what does your mother do? She told me the mother too was into the alabaru business, and this girl now, the mother is getting old. She now has also taken over. So at the end, they all gather the money, and that's what they feed with, And then we went to a particular fishing community in the Agoebu community in Bariga. The same thing. These young girls, they help their mothers to sell fish, and then and at the end of the day, and when they bring a girl that is 15 years old, the girl looks like 9 years, and I'm like, okay, if you people are into protein business, I guess it should also reflect in your heights and all that. We discovered that they cannot even afford to spend 1 naira from what they make. So they sell those things, they use it to buy rice or buy gari that they will now make at home. And so we started working with them in the market. We called the school the Alabaru Market School. Although, yes, we've been working with them, and right now we are trying to establish something within the market, so that it will be a kind of formal gathering where, we allow them do their business, but, we allow for flexibility of time. Maybe when there is not too much work to do, maybe at a particular time, we invite them to come for literacy classes. And those of them that we find that cannot really cope, we try and give them skills that will help them to get on in life. Because we look at it, there's no way a child will start to carry loads from the age of 7, for example, until she gets married 20, and then continue, and then her own child takes over from her. From that, that means it's a whole lot of problem. And so thinking of how to help them so that they too, if a woman, for example, got somebody that taught them how to do this crochet and how to make cardigans, shawl, all that they can sell and exchange for money. And then there's another one, the male versions among them, they learn how to make shoes, and then so that they can, at the end of the day, there's a handiwork that they can rely upon. Realize that they don't carry load per day, they can't eat. That's where the problem is. So those are the things we have been trying to do with them. And then particularly we also focus on girls, because we realize that, because I run a school, I realize that if a parent if they don't have enough money to send their children to school, it's likely that it's the girl child that will stay at home. Yes, I have a man that removed his children from my school and put them in a public school and left only the male child in our school, So we're like, okay, if the problem was more than that, it's likely that it's those girls that would have had to stay at home. So because of that, we do mentorship program. We try to talk with the parents. We use all these big women in our society today as example. People like Ngozi Iweala. We talk to the men, their fathers about them, and say, look, the girl child can also do well. It's not only the boy. So we encourage them to do their female children in school as well. So it's a mentorship program that we are also running. Try to talk with their parents. Sometimes, some of these children, they have a lot of challenges which they cannot even share with anybody. But by the time we do the mentorship program, we allow them ask questions. We give them paper and they don't write their names and they just drop the questions, and then we discover that there are a lot of challenges. So because of that, those are the kind of things we have been doing to help these children. Thus far. There's still so many more that we are planning.
That's a lot. That's a whole lot. Going to the point where the problem is, which is the market, to get those children. Because if you go to the homes or their community areas, you will never find them. They are back in the market working and trying to put food on their table. That's really powerful. I know that in the course of doing all of this, you have experienced or encountered some challenges, especially in terms of reaching out to these beneficiaries. So what are the kind of challenges you have experienced on the hand of the organization and also when it comes to reaching out to the beneficiaries?
Okay. Now, reaching out to the beneficiaries is one of the biggest challenges we actually have. Yes, for example, there's nothing like a child who is already making some small money. For example, maybe in a day, the child sees 500 naira. The child, that's very big money. I don't know if you understand the point I'm making. It's very big money. So most of the time, convincing them to say, okay, look, when you go, you can earn better than this. You can become a doctor. You can become a nurse. Or it's always very difficult to get them to want to change their mind, because some of them, by the time they make those kind of money, they give their parents a portion, and then the remaining one, they use it to buy some blouse for themselves, and they feel it's a whole lot. I'm telling you. So that's why we made the market school very flexible. So that when we allow them do their business, but then when there is less work, when they are less busy, they come over, and then we train them. We continue to train them. And what we are planning to do is, at the end of the training, we will, onboard them into some of these schools, maybe the public schools, and then monitor them until
continue.
Yes.
That's really like having to convince the child that you can actually do more. It's funny, but it's actually true because they don't know better. So it's like, what's the guarantee that what I leave would give me more? Like, I can really understand how they feel. Like there's no guarantee, and it's difficult to explain that to someone who has known this all their life. For example, their mom has done it, their sisters have done it, and they are doing it, and you're saying that's not the way it's supposed to be done. I can really understand how it works. Are there any other challenges in terms of running the work that you do apart from that of the beneficiaries?
Okay, another challenge, major challenge we have is, funding. It's not really easy to, how it is.
Yeah.
It's really easy to come about funding. So all we keep doing is amplifying the good works, letting people know this is what and what we do. With time, people want to see these good works we are doing, and then we want to come in. And I really don't, I think with time, people have more confidence in what we're doing, and then they to come and support us. We are self-funding. We are, the passion is what is driving us. When we see a child who would have not been in school, now in school, it's a whole lot of joy for us. It makes us happy. And then we are looking at, in another 10 years, we're like, by the time this one graduates and all that, the society will be better off for it. Those are the things that keep us going.
I know. You've been running for, I wouldn't say it's a short while, but yeah, it's a short while. But in this short while that you've been running and organizing events and everything, has there been any day that you would say, this day I would never forget because of an experience that made a mark or left a mark in your life?
Yes, I will say there's a day I would say I would never forget, because there were initially when we penetrated the markets, and we paid for a particular space. Before we knew it, by the time, and we told the agent that took us there that, look, we're an NGO. We run classes for the laborers in the market. These people carry load, and the agent said there was no problem. But by the time the owner of the building came and saw that this is the particular thing wanted, when you bring in all these people carrying load and then they drop their basins by the entrance, the man was like, never. He doesn't want to have any, and we had already paid, we had painted, done everything. Yeah. So, and by the time we came back the next day, he had put a different padlock and locked up the place.
My God. And what happened to the money?
The money was hanging. So actually, we had to wait until they were able to get somebody else to take the place before they refunded us.
Refunded the money.
That's one day I would say, and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, why am I giving myself this kind of, I was beginning to get discouraged. But again, the desire to get things done, it was more than the desire to want to quit. And luckily, we were able to overcome the challenge.
I know. What do you do when you're overwhelmed with activities that you're running and all of that? I'm asking this question because there are a lot of nonprofit leaders that suffer from overwhelm and discouragement and setbacks. Like you just gave a practical example of a huge setback that you had. How exactly did you battle it? Like what do you do if something like this comes up?
Yes, what we did, we have mentors in the industry. We have to look up to people we relate with, who kind of spur us on. So when these it happened, I had to call my mentor, who is also a member of my board of advisors. So, and he told me, and I shouldn't expect it to be a walk in the park. That challenges are bound to happen, and all that, and that is just, that I should look at it beyond running an NGO. That is more like a calling, that we have to forge ahead with it. And that was how I got re-energized to continue and all that. And then sometimes some of the work we do can be very overwhelming. Sometimes we don't really have money to, get social media handlers, get this and that. We have to do everything by ourselves. And sometimes in a week or two, I'm not even able to post anything anywhere, because so many other things I'm looking at that are challenging to me. So those are some of the things that you can call some form of discouragement. But really, like I told you, my mentor said, it's beyond running an NGO. It's more like a life aspiration and part of the call of God upon one's life. And we just have to keep doing it. We just have to keep doing it so long as we are making an impact.
So long as you are making impact, that's really actually what stands out. The fact that you are helping people, creating a transformational change in their lives, that keeps you going and helps you want to keep doing more. So before I let you go, is there any special project or any special program you would like people to support your organization with or donate to your organization?
Yes, it's concerning this the Alabaru Market School that we actually need funding, to, because number one, when we call this kind of people together, we have to help them with funds. We have to, sometimes when we keep them from, hustling inside the market, sometimes they still need to with money, to eat and all that. So we need funding for that. And then the Amajarai, there's also a project that's coming up, which we are doing with the Amajarais. We went to there's this place they have in somewhere in Yaba, where these young girls and boys are hired by the older people to take them around, the blind people.
They
pay them. But what we want to do with them is give them skills, let them acquire skills, so that we observe that after a while they to begin to beg, and then from there they get married and they continue with this. And so we want to try and break that circle, so that they have their handiwork, what they're able to do, or even get them to go to school. And now what we're looking at is even those of them that are intelligent enough, we want to send them to school. And if they need to get into government colleges, we ask them for the state they have come out from and get their state government to offer them scholarship. But between now and then, when we are training them, giving them this literacy training, we need money to be able to fund this kind of projects. And those are the things that are very, very key for us right now. Money for them, for us to be able to fund the projects, the place we use for them, rent the place, and continue to pay, and at the end of the day, we have to give them food, because when they beg, people give them food around, and if they don't have food to eat, it's a huge discouragement for them. So food to eat and all that. So we need money, sponsors.
Okay. So do you have any final words, any last things you want to say to people that are listening to us right now?
Yes. What I want to say to people listening to us is that they should please look, the poor, we have poor people in our midst, and they need help. If you look at our society now, if you compare what the society is like now to what it was before now, we never used to have ritual killers, hired assassins, puzzlers, kidnappers and all these things. It goes, it's a state, the poor are making a statement in a way, which is even a bad way. And I think if we need to step in, if we want a society for all of us to live in, the rich need to come out and help these people, help us to help them, so that at the end of the day, the society will be a safe place for all of us to live in. That's what I will have to say.
Yes, everyone has to step in to help the organizations that are reaching out to these beneficiaries to do well in the society, and that's how we make the society a very good place and pleasant place for everyone to live in. So, guys, that's it for this week's series. Thank you so much for watching. On your screen right now, you should be seeing the contact details and the method in which you can donate to EduAid Foundation. Please, your support is needed as usual. If you are looking to partner with them, you're looking to collaborate with them, their contact details are also going through your screen right now. Feel free to send an email and anything that you want to. Also, I'll drop every other detail in the description box so that you can also get access to EduAid Foundation. Thank you so much, Ma, for being here with me. I really appreciate this, and this was a very, very exciting session. Okay.
I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to share, drop a comment, like, and let everybody know about EduAid Foundation.
Bye. Okay.